let's do this. So this is the 2017 DAW exam by BTEC, and these are the provided audio files. The aim of this video is to fix them. So let's have a look at what we're working with. I'm going to work with one at a time. I'm going to start with the simplest one first. Let's see what we've got. So let's have a look at what we've got. Okay, anything wrong with that? Don't think so. Let's have a look at the analyzer. So as far as I see it, we've got two separate elements that we can use. So all I'm going to do here is zoom in and split them off. Okay, now I've got two elements. Nice. We can see this needs a little bit of a fade out, or I'm going to get a popping sound. So just to be lazy, I'm going to select both of those, go to my region, and apply a fade out. You should see that right at the end. There it is. And let's apply a tiny fade in as well. Nice. If we zoom into this here, we'll see that there's a slight gap. So we can fix that. We don't need so much of a fade now. There we go. And then these files are ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bounce them in place. Okay, and I don't need the original one, so I can get rid. And these two files are ready to go. Now let's have a look at the next one. We've got a drum beat. It's a rhythm part. We only have one kick at the start, then two bars that are pretty much the same. Then we've got some extra elements, little bleeps and blops. So what are we going to do with this? Well, let's have a look. So yeah, we can see the kick here. And then it doesn't repeat, so we can split these off so we can use them as separate elements. Does everything line up to the grid? There's a slight shift. Let's have a look at what the smart tempo says. So edit, analyze again. Yeah, it's at 120, same as my project, so that's good. So let's put those cuts in. And let's have a look. Yeah, that works. Nice, we can just use these as loops now. And if I want to chop up some elements, I think there's some different ones here. Yeah, there's some different elements here. Yeah. So can go in and chop this off. And now we can use this element here wherever we want. Just going to duplicate this track and then separate this one. If you wanted to go a little bit further, you could actually cut all these off and lay them out on different channels. As it has got a tonal element, I think we can just drag it directly into a sampler and click, drag to the bottom, open up a sampler, and let's see what we're working with. So let's redefine the start and the end. Open up a keyboard with Command K, solo it. Oh, that's going to be a perfect software instrument. I mean, it has that retro sound, it's perfect. Play chords. Let's go a little bit further with that and edit that. So, move this out of the way. I want to turn on loop, which is kind of hidden. It should be around here. So I'm just going to click in the empty space. There we go, loop on. And then I'm going to select just one wave of this. So I just need one perfect repetition. I'm going to grab it from the 0 point. Let's grab it from here. And then so that's one perfect wave. So it goes down, up, down, and then just as it repeats again. Let's test it out. We can mess around with the filter settings. We can add an LFO to trigger the filter settings. So LFO1 will target the cutoff, and then we could choose the amount here. And the rate, we can fix it to 1 bar. Change the wave type. Close this. Let's drag that back up to the top. What I want to do with the drums is I actually want to separate them and put them on individual channels, so we can EQ them separately and do whatever we need to. Let's have a listen. Okay, let's start chopping that up. Duplicate this, and just going to get the kick. A little bit of a shaker at the top there. Then what else have we got? These two elements here. And I'm keeping the timing of them exactly how the loop had it, but I can change that later. I've got a finger click there. So this is shaker. This is also a short shaker. Click. Finger snap. And then I'm just going to increase the size of the wave so I can see what's going on. And then I can see that this could be done a little bit tidier towards the end, because it does have its own little reverb on. There we go, let's have a listen to that. Okay, good. What else do we have? More of these shakers. Let's put it on the shaker track. This could come back a little bit because this is just split up into separate tracks. You know what? I'm just going to put that shaker in with the other shakers. Okay. But now if we want to, we can have more finger snaps. We can rearrange it however we like. So the first bar could sound like this. You can put one of these in towards the end. Add more kicks. Could even modify some of these using the fade tool and then turn on the slowdown. Could do a speed up on this one. You can't really hear it because it's on top of the kick. Let's move that whole thing back. I like that. Let's move that to the end. Nice. And then you can continue doing that with the other elements that are in this loop. Benefits now, you can EQ them separately, compress them, and add effects to each one. Another thing you could do with this is drag it to the bottom, put it into a sampler, and then select the slice option, and now C1. Now you can use MIDI to reorder the sounds for this one here. So I'm just going to drag that up. Let's have a look at the next one.
Next level.
We've got loads of low-end rumble.
Next level.
Let's get rid of that using an EQ. So I'm going to insert an EQ, and it's going to be a low cut. Yeah, we can see that's the low end energy here. Let's get rid.
Next level.
Let's make it really harsh, and there we can see the first fundamental. So let's not cut that off.
Next level.
Okay, that's the first step. Let's bounce that in place. We want the effects, and okay. So now we just have the next level and some recorded noise.
Next level.
And let's cut that.
Next level.
Let's zoom in. And how much further could I go with this? Just to here. Apply a little fade. Actually, a longer fade.
Next level. Next level.
Okay. Job done. That's been fixed. What else could we do? Let's have a listen to the original.
Next level.
I suppose we could chop this off. See if we can use it in a creative way. Let's reverse it. Move this out of the way. T A for fade. Okay. Could be useful. Let's see if we can go get that click from the end. Okay, let's reduce the gain of that. Apply fade. And tiniest fades at the beginning. Zoom in. We don't have to do a fade, we can just cut the 0 point there. And then unzoom. I'm going to copy that, or rather cut it. And then copy a new track, call it click. And then paste it at the beginning. We should. Yeah, we've got the two elements here. Okay. If I want to shorten this, I can just shrink this a little bit. And then bounce these two in place together. Kick idea. And now we've created our own kick. Out of some mistakes, some errors on the provided audio files. And let's have a look at what we've got for the next file.
Don't break down. Don't break down.
Okay, so we've got a rhythm element and a vocal mixed up together. I'm going to try and see if I can separate those so I can use them independently. The other thing we've got is the word down is a lot louder. So no doubt they've included that, so we use some dynamic processor plugins. What shall we do first? Let's isolate the two parts now. So to isolate the two parts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip away the the rhythm, recreate it below, and then put it out of phase. Duplicate. So once everything lines up to the grid, it should be easier. So what we've got here, oops, apologies. Let's only work on these two for now.
Don't break down.
Okay, so we've got this beat, don't get. Actually, chop it off here, chop it off here.
Don't break down.
Chop it off here. Make a copy below. Line that one up with this. Copy this one across. So we've got two copies of the exact same thing, but in this part, there's no vocal. And now what I have to do is line these up perfectly. You know what? Let's increase the screen. Make this bigger. Zoom this in. Playhead here. Keep zooming in. Okay. If this wasn't zooming in or snapping to the grid, I'd remove snap off. There we can see it's just not moving how I want it. Snap off. There you. Oh. Okay, so now these two are perfectly aligned. So if I place this element out of phase with this one, we should just hear the vocals. Let's try it. So I'm going to use the gain tool, which is found under utility. I'm going to phase invert. Now if I've done my job correctly, we shouldn't hear the beat.
Don't break down.
I haven't done my job properly. Okay, let's try a different method. So I think the flex and follow is not helping me. Let's try removing this without applying flex and follow. So duplicate track, do the same process again. Let's try this.
Don't break down. Don't.
Beautiful. Okay, so the flex and follow was doing some subtle changes to the beat, so we're going to have to do it afterwards. Let's bounce them in place and bounce in place. Press OK. And now we should have just the vocal element at the bottom.
Don't break down.
And then if I get rid of this,
Don't.
I now have just the rhythm. Glue these together, join them. Nice. That's at 90 BPM. If I double click on this, analyze again. Yeah, here we go, 90 BPM. So now we can do this. Flex and follow on. Could do it that way, or we can go and apply flex time and retime these elements that are slightly out. So let's move that one back, put a pin in this one, put a pin, put a pin, put a pin, oops, put a pin, move this one back, move this one back. Oh, you know what, that's bar 2, so let's just chop that off. Okay. Let's put a snap back on. Snap to absolute value. Okay. Separated the vocals, separated the beat. Vocals still has this really large down, which I'm not too happy with. So how we're going to fix that? I could use the gain tool, chop this off, use the gain tool, but BTEC are specifically looking for you to use a compressor. So let's use a compressor, show them that we can do that. So I'm just going to loop the area that I'm going to work in. Load a compressor. And then my aim is just to compress the elements above here. So let's listen to this.
Don't break.
Okay, we don't want that element compressed, so I'm going to set this above, the aim of which is I don't want to see the compressor doing anything for these elements.
Don't break.
Okay, a little bit higher.
Don't break.
Okay, now let's have a look at this one here.
Down.
Okay, so the volume peak of this is currently coming in at
Down.
-4. These ones are coming in at
Don't break.
-16. So I'm going to carry on increasing this ratio until this is coming down. Let's turn the auto gain off.
Down. 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 Down.
Faster attack.
Down. Down.
Still really loud.
Don't break.
-18, and then
Don't break. Don't break down.
it's only doing, it's a lot of compression, but nothing's coming through. Let's have a look, see if I can.
Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break down.
Okay, that's a little bit better. The ratio. Let's have a look. It's set to be quite smooth. We want it to be quite rigid.
Don't break down. Don't break down. Don't break down. Don't break down. Don't break down.
Okay, let's bounce this in place, see what it did. Okay, good. We can see it has reduced the voice at the level of the down. Still everything's quite quiet, so let's undo that and increase the makeup gain. Let's look at the output level.
Don't break down. Don't break down.
Bounce it in place. Compressed vocal, it's cleaned up, it doesn't have the beat behind it. I've got 3 copies of it if we need to. Let's have a look if there's any tuning issues. Turn on flex. double click, flex on, turn on flex, and we want pitch. And let's make this bigger. Okay. It's quite a fluid vocal line. It's not really holding onto a note. There's lots of vocal gymnastics here. Could reduce some of the vibrato.
Don't break down.
That's still too loud. I'm just gonna go and do some gain change here. Gain down. There we go.
Don't break down.
Okay. As they're all the same, I'm just gonna bounce you in place. Let's finally look at the last element. So we've got a bass line. And this chord stab here. Let's see if we can isolate that and get rid of it. Use it for something else. Let's just duplicate this. Move that over there for now. Mute this. Okay. Let's fix this up. Yeah, monophonic should work. Before we do that, let's see what it tells us tempo wise. I think it might be a bit confused. 95, the beats are kind of lined up, but no, I think I'm going to do it manually. Turn on. We're at 120. This is a lot slower than 120. That doesn't sound nice. Rhythmic. Let's try that. Nice. That's starting at the right place. Okay. Let's try a different algorithm out. Try the automatic. Okay, that's added some weird things. No, it's kind of old school. Rhythmic sounded okay. Let's look at bar 3. bounce in place. And if we crop this on the 4th bar, we should be able to loop this. Oops, that's from this element here. Okay, I got a bit of a weird pop there. Let's have a look. That's why this audio region here doesn't go back to the 0 point, so let's fix that. Tiny fade, fade out. That'll do. And sol fade in. Let's copy that one over. Yep, that works. Alternatively, we can use the original 4th bar and then just take the last quarter of a bar. Let's put that on. See what that sounds like. Okay. So fade. Now we've got a perfect 4-bar loop. Okay. 4-bar loop. Let's fix it dynamically. Let's try this one. Okay, bounce in place. Nice, more consistent. What else have we got? I think those are all of the elements fixed. Now we can start making music.